All right, I'm Mark Jameson. I'm with the U.S. Forest Service, and I'm here to give you a few tips on sharpening a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And my name is Raymond Johnson. I serve as Assistant Unit Leader here at the Southern Region.
All right, perfect.
All right, so chainsaws. Hey, it's just a tool, but it's a tool that can get you in a lot of trouble real fast if you're not careful. One of these things, through my inattention or actions, tried to kill me twice. So just be cautious. I've survived mostly without any permanent damage. All right, so you got your basic tools, safety gear. Most of the time when you're going to be cutting, you may be cutting storm damaged trees. This is where I got into trouble, because when a big tree goes down, there's a lot of tensions, and you really got to pay attention. It's always safer to go to the top of it and whittle it down a little at a time. Watching for tensions and the thing rolling over. There's a lot to watch out for. Experience will teach you. But you have safety glasses, and you're going to have all long sleeve shirts and gloves on. I'm not going to. I like these safety glasses because they're a mesh, so that you don't get all steamed up, hot and sweaty. So when you're cutting, watch out for tensions. And you're also watching for that kerf to close up and grab your saw. But this is more about sharpening. So come on in here and look at this. On all these, there's a little line on the back of the tooth. And that's your angle that you want to that you want to cut with. So you want to try to match that angle. All right, so the angle is important, because if you get it too much this way or too much this way, it won't bite correctly, and the chain won't work as well. So you're paying attention to that, and you're also, as you're doing it, counting your strokes. Files only cut in one direction, this way. If you're keeping pressure on it, pulling it back, you're dulling the file. So you give it a good stroke, and you're counting, because you want to do the same amount of strokes on each tooth, and you go all the way through it. Usually you'll see where you did and where it wasn't done, because it'll be shiny. All right, and that little line serves two purposes. Not only is it the angle you want to be doing your file at, but it's also the life of the tooth. I have sharpened them all the way down to that line, and then you get rid of that thing. Get rid of that chain, because you got all the good out of it. But as you're sharpening and you're removing a little bit of metal, it actually lowers the top end of this blade. And so that little guide in front of it that helps keep the tooth from biting too deep will end up being higher than your tooth, and then it's no longer effective. So there's little guides. There's also little guides that help you keep the right angle. Those are good too. You can eyeball it if you're good with seeing angles, but for that thing you definitely need a guide. And every so often you just go through and do each one. This one's fine. See, I'm not taking anything off. So you don't have to do that every time. You do that every fifth or sixth time you're sharpening it. If you sharpen, put 5 or 6 strokes every time, you fill up the chain. Every time you fill up with fuel, it gives you a little bit of break. It's humping that thing around all day will wear you out, especially if you're out in the heat. So take turns with the saw, swap them off. And every time you fill it up with fuel, give it a couple, 2 or 3 strokes on each tooth. It'll keep it sharp. You won't have to work yourself as hard. The thing about chainsaws is you let them do the work. Don't try to force it. Don't push it down. Especially don't try to twist it. Just go straight and level and easy. Easy's best. That's about all I got. Clear?
Yeah.
Clear as mud?
The only question I have is, You said 5 to 6. That's kind of the ideal number of strokes.
Yeah, if it's every so often, that'll keep it sharp.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing it every time you fuel up, but every once in a while you slip down, and I just did my saw at home, and I did every 15 strokes on every tooth,
Gotcha.
just to get it really good and sharp for the next time. Because when I'm pulling it out in July, I don't want to have to work
Okay.
real hard. It's
All right. So,
welcome to the heart of the sweat belt.
yeah. So each time you use the round file to sharpen each blade, how many times you push it through again? You said 3?
You know, it'll vary.
Uh-huh.
3, 5 to 10. It depends how dull the saw. If you put that saw when you're cutting something and you put it in the dirt, you just dulled every tooth. So you're going to want to do it a little bit more if that's your bad habit. You got to be real careful about not touching the ground with the saw running, or especially a rock, which is
Okay.
part of Mississippi. You don't find very many rocks, but you know, you guys are going other places where there are rocks. So rock will dull a saw where it'll take 30 strokes on each tooth to get it sharp again. It all, what's my usual answer? Jonathan's heard this before. It depends. It's always the right answer.
Perfect. All right. All right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Raymond.
All right?
Yeah.
Good. Appreciate it.